This bloody video has been impossible for me to record. I'm so damn excited about this Fallout TV show, I cannot speak properly. What's going on, everyone? It's me, Lone. Amazon Prime has released a brand new trailer for the Fallout TV show, and brother, this thing looks so damn good. I know I'm a self-admitted Fallout fanboy, right? But come on, look at the thing. It looks legitimate every time I see something new about this show. Whether it is a trailer, set photos, heck, even an article or two, I just get more and more hyped. I cannot wait for this thing to come out. April 11 cannot come soon enough. And because of this new trailer, we have received even more information about the show, including info on how the episodes are going to be released. So in today's video, I'd like to talk about three different things. Number one, I do want to have a bit of a general chat as to the importance of this TV show to the entirety of the Fallout franchise. This is not just hyperbole. I do fundamentally believe that this TV show could be one of the most important things that happened to the Fallout franchise, at least in recent memory. Not overall, of course, but recently for sure. Number two, I do want to talk about how the episodes are going to be released. We have confirmation that the episodes are going to be released all at once as opposed to over the course of a few weeks or months. Some people love that, others don't, so let's talk about it. And number three, I've got to share my thoughts on the trailer. We're going to go frame by frame. I'm going to talk about what I loved, everything that we saw in it. So if you enjoyed this video, if you find it helpful, please like, subscribe if you're new, with notifications if that's possible. But let's talk about this TV show, right? If you can feel it right now, you can sense it. Excitement and hype in the Fallout community is at an all-time high because this TV show is just getting everyone gassed. The vast majority of people, I would say, are excited about this show, or at least are cautiously optimistic. I know there are people that just don't like what they see. They're sharing their valid criticisms. They're not liking some of the set pieces, the location, how the characters are designed. I understand that there are certain people that don't like the show. However, I do believe it's true to say that the vast majority of people are at least excited or looking forward to judging the show when it does come out. And because of that, all eyeballs are on the Fallout franchise because of this Fallout TV show. And yes, a fair few of those eyeballs are current Fallout fans. Fans that have played the games before, whether it's 3 or New Vegas, heck, maybe even Brotherhood of Steel. Maybe you played that game. A lot of us are current Fallout fans that have played the games, right? But Amazon Prime has over 230 million subscribers and are probably going to get more by the time the show comes out, especially in light of this show. Many of them absolutely are not Fallout fans. Either they're not gamers in their entirety or they just haven't played the Fallout franchise. So there's a lot of new eyeballs on the franchise as well. And this is so important for the entirety of Fallout as a whole. The show is getting so much attention, and not just in the community, in the media as well. They're doing a bunch of interviews about the show. There is a good set of people involved as part of the cast that are well known, like Walton Goggins, that are talking about the show. They're sharing set photos on Instagram. So much attention is being brought towards the Fallout franchise because of this TV show. And because of that, Bethesda and BGS absolutely need to strike while the iron is hot. And don't get me wrong, they are doing that to an extent. We've seen more Fallout merch recently than we've ever seen. I haven't seen so much Fallout merch. Maybe you can compare it to the launch of 76. There was a lot of merch there. But now we got the new Pip-Boy from the TV show. It's die-cast. It looks awesome. We have the Fallout Magic the Gathering cards, not necessarily related to the show, but they're coming out coincidentally very, close to the show. And a bunch of other stuff as well. And of course, we are getting Fallout 4 Next Gen sometime this year. It could be close to the show. It might not be if it's not ready. But Bethesda, they're not idiots. They're trying to release something new and fancy. So when people see this show, they're like, oh, maybe I want to play Fallout. What's something new and polished that I can play? Fallout 4 Next Gen. Perfect timing if they can release it when the actual show comes out. So yes, to an extent, Bethesda Game Studios and Bethesda as a whole are absolutely striking while the iron is hot. However, there's one more thing they can do. You're thinking about it, I'm thinking about it. They should be expediting Fallout 5 or some sort of new Fallout game based on this show. They cannot leave it for another 10 years, which is looking like to be. If Elder Scrolls 6 comes out in 4 to 5 years, Fallout 5 is probably 4 to 5 years after that. They cannot wait 10 years for another Fallout game to come out. By then, the hype that has been generated by this TV show will have well and truly died out. well and truly. Heck, probably even in 5 years it's died out a little bit. But if they haven't started making a new Fallout game, there's no better time than now, right? They need to make a new Fallout game. 10 years is too far away. I still want BGS to make a Fallout 5, right? I want them to make Fallout 5. But if they can't do so quick enough, if they can't do so within the next 4 or 5 years, I've said this in videos in the past, they need to pass the Fallout franchise to another developer, just so we have a new Fallout game. Fallout 76 is close to my heart, but it's just not filling the gap for many players at the moment. We need a new big AAA open world RPG Fallout game, all right? So whether that's Fallout 5 or New Vegas 2 for the lack of a better title, we need something new, especially because of this TV show and how much attention the franchise is getting as a result. So I've said my piece. Let me know what you think in the comments below. But let's talk about now how all the episodes are being released all at once, right? I know some people don't like this, and the argument for that, at least there are a few arguments, but number one, people are saying there is a certain level of excitement that comes along with episodes being released week by week, right? You watch the first episode, maybe they do a double launch with 2 episodes at once, everyone gets excited, there's another 6 episodes or so, whatever it is to go. Week to week, we're speculating, we're waiting for the new episode, we're looking at Easter eggs and analyzing every screen and frame of the show. There is a certain level of excitement that goes along with shows being released like that. I understand the appeal for sure 100%. But if you were to ask me as a Fallout fan, would I want to see it all at once? Absolutely. I don't want to wait 8 weeks or 9 weeks or 10 weeks. I want to see it all at once. I know that it gets exciting to watch it week by week and everyone gets hyped and we're speculating. But I just want to binge it. I want to binge it and I want to get on this channel and talk about all the bloody episodes. That's my personal view, right? And I know everyone's not going to like it. I don't think it actually, really fundamentally harms the show. I just think you just don't get that excitement of waiting week by week and speculating. That is not like harming the show to the stage where people are actually not going to like it. Whether it's released all at once or over the course of a few weeks or months, if it's a good show, it's a good show. If it's a bad show, it's going to be a bad show. The release schedule shouldn't affect the actual quality of the show, or at least people's perceptions of the quality of the show. That's just my opinion, but again, let me know in the comments below. But now let's talk about my reactions. We gotta talk about this bloody trailer, man. So I saw the first one. There were some reused shots, right? I didn't get angry by that, but it's just noteworthy. However, let's talk about frame by frame. First of all, Walton Goggins presenting and narrating the trailer just felt incredibly Fallout. It was like an ad that Vault-Tec would make to try and convince you to go to the vault, right? It was perfectly done. They absolutely nailed the vibe and the theme of that. I felt like I was an American citizen and I was like, yeah, I gotta go to the vaults. This is convincing me. So great job on that. And overall, I think you can agree, there are a lot of nice subtle details in this trailer. For instance, when you look at the video camera, it's titled The Telesonic Magic of 3D. I don't think that's actually in the games, but it does feel like Fallout. It's very reminiscent of the name of an object that you might get in the Fallout games. So I really like that. The vaults, as I've mentioned before, look perfect. They are picture perfect. They have nailed how the vaults look, down to the vault door, the symbols, the paint colors of the blue and yellow, the windows, even the bloody chairs. Everything looks perfect in the vaults. And it probably makes sense. We're probably getting at least a good portion of that first episode in the vaults, seeing what life is like in there. And I believe there's also another vault involved as well. So they had to get it right, and I think they have done that. So perfect. Also as well related to the vaults, I think the vault suits look pretty great as well. I was a little bit worried that the vault suits could look a little bit funky, if you will, but they look pretty good. I think they've done a good job there. And I will say, and I keep talking about this, but I believe the set pieces and the locations look really good. To me, it's clear they've tried as much as possible to minimize the use of green screens and CGI as much as they can. Of course, it's clearly there. If you can look at it carefully. Some screens have absolutely used a green screen or a blue screen. Some screens have absolutely used CGI. You can't get around that. It's a Fallout franchise. Some of the stuff is going to have to be CGI, right? But as much as possible, I think they've used real sets, real locations. We saw that in a lot of the set photos that were leaked about the show. So kudos to them on that. A lot of it does look real. And they've used these real life locations from like New Jersey and New York and Utah. So not necessarily in Los Angeles where the actual show is based, but still in America. Still it's a similar vibe. So I'm pretty happy with it. I loved how they used the sound of rads in the game. It just gave me nostalgia. I got a little bit of shivers down my spine from that. And they also gave us some pretty light details about the story. However, we're still pretty in the dark as to what this show actually is about. Yes, we have like the general idea. Lucy leaves the vault for some reason and has to go and do a bunch of things, save the world, and everyone has a different idea about how the world is going to be saved, right? That's the general concept. But really, that's pretty bare bones. But you know what? Thank you. Thank God for that. How many trailers have we seen in recent times, whether it's a TV show trailer or a movie show trailer, that give away the entire bloody plot in the trailer? And then I'm like, well, I don't need to see this show anymore or this movie anymore. Thank the heavens they're not doing that with the Fallout TV show. They are keeping stuff close to their chest, and as they should. Good job, Amazon Prime, on that and Kilter Films. I 100% agree with that, right? And also, again, it's the subtle details that I love, whether it's the Vault-Tec bobbleheads or the stim packs or even the Radiation King TV. Those subtle little details are what us as hardcore Fallout fans will notice, and I'm sure there's going to be even more of that stuff in the actual show. They're just giving us a little piece in this trailer, and when I'm watching it with my wife, I'm going to be constantly pointing out things. That's in the game, and that's that Easter egg, and blah, 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 blah. I'm going to be so annoying to watch this thing with. I also loved how the character reacted to Lucy being a Vault Dweller. That felt like Fallout 3 all over. And that character, she nailed that actress, absolutely nailed that character. Felt like she was crazy laughing at Lucy for being a Vault Dweller. She was like, yeah, what's happened in the past 200 years? That was perfect. And they really have nailed the vibe of Fallout. Down to the comedy, there's a lot of bleakness I feel in here as well, reminiscent of 3 and Fallout New Vegas. The violence, we've seen so much blood, so much gore in these trailers. This one was definitely a little bit more tuned down compared to the previous one, but we saw the ghoul literally shoot a hole into a character, so it looks good, it looks violent, it looks dark, it looks funny. They've nailed the vibe of Fallout. And guys and girls, when I don't want to set the world on fire hit, I cried. I don't care whether it makes me seem like less of a man or not. It just hit me, bro. That song is Fallout all over. It reminds me of Fallout 3. It reminds me of playing the game for the first time. Oh my God, I'm so glad they used that song. It's like they know what they're doing. They know what we want to see as Fallout fans. And maybe Todd and the team at BGS gave them a bit of a heads up. Use this song and you're going to get everyone excited. But when it popped up, beautiful. Beautiful. And they didn't just like play the song, they kind of mixed it in and faded it in nicely, and you kind of heard it towards the end as well. Oh, they nailed that. Absolutely nailed that. And Walton Goggins, I've got to talk about again. Is there a more perfect casting for a ghoul in Fallout than Walton Goggins? Absolutely perfect. Yes, the details of his makeup and the mask may not exactly match the games, right? The games is pretty hard to get right, but it's close enough. He looks like a ghoul. I'm very, very happy with it. And he's just great in his kind of what he's saying and how he's presenting himself and just his everything. I freaking love Walton Goggins, man. And the Mr. Handy looks really cool as well. Sounds just like Wadsworth or Codsworth. I actually wonder whether they got the actual voice actor for the Mr. Handys in this Fallout TV show. Sounds literally perfect. And again, the comedy is there as well with that Mr. Handy saying, I'm simply going to harvest your organs. Sounds like exactly something Codsworth or Wadsworth would say, right? So perfect. And there is a new Pip-Boy design. You can also buy it. I think I mentioned that at the beginning of the video. You can also buy this Pip-Boy design, and I like it because some people might think it's not lore-friendly, but if you really think about it, in every Fallout game, we've pretty much got a new version of the Pip-Boy. So why can't we get a new version in the Fallout TV show, right? There's nothing wrong with different variants of the Pip-Boy. And this one, with the silver color, it looks a little bit cleaner, less like dials and markings on the actual thing. I think it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty cool in person as well. I really want to buy this thing. And let's talk about the Brotherhood of Steel, right? I know it's a sticking point. I know some people are like, it's the bloody West Coast, it's LA. Why is there so much emphasis on the Brotherhood of Steel? Yes, there is a lot of Brotherhood of Steel. Yes, I wish and I hope there is more of the NCR. And there might actually be, if you really look at the trailer, there might actually be some NCR members. We'll talk about that. But I do like how the Brotherhood of Steel is in there. Like, if you think about them trying to sell the Fallout TV show to a general audience, you've got to be honest with yourselves. Having a big power armor looks cool, right? You have a set photo of this big, cool-looking power armor. You have it in the trailers and the promotional posters and the art and everything like that. The power armor really does help sell the show, right? So I understand why they've included the Brotherhood of Steel just because of that reason, and also probably Todd loves the Brotherhood of Steel, so that's why they're in there. But I will say, yes, I hope there is more of the NCR, and it seems like we are getting this kind of maybe a battle or a war between the Brotherhood of Steel and the NCR. That could be one of the plot points. I'll get to that in a second. We saw more of the Prydwen-like airship. I don't think it's called the Prydwen, but we saw more of the airship and the vertibirds. And that stupid ass looking assault rifle is just perfect. It's meant to look dumb. It is meant to look big and clunky and stupid. Straight out of Fallout 4. Absolutely perfect. And yes, so let's talk about that power armor helmet opening up like Iron Man in Marvel, right? Yes, power armor helmets in Fallout don't do that in the games, right? They come off as an entire set. I don't care. I know lore-wise, it probably doesn't match the games, and it might not make much sense. Like, these helmets are meant to be completely sealed, and some people might argue by opening like that, they're not necessarily sealed, but that's a really hardcore lore argument, right? It looks cool. It might not be exactly matching to the games, and you know what it does do? It does at least help show the character's face a little bit more while he is wearing power armor. Yes, you could just take the helmet off and have him talk in those scenes, but imagine in a battle context where he quickly opens the mask and says a few lines and then closes it and then goes back in the battle. I can understand why they do that, right? As much as I love The Mandalorian and seeing Pedro Pascal as Din Djarin, however you pronounce that, sometimes I would have liked to have seen his face. Sometimes, yes, when you do have the emotions on a character's face, it's a little bit easier to see what they're going through, to feel their emotions and all that kind of stuff. I understand why they've done it. It's not perfect to the games, but I'm pretty okay with it. And then again, we kept seeing the dog CX404. Guys, this dog is gonna die. I'm just gonna say, this dog will die. Apparently, there's even a scene where the dog looks dead in this trailer, if you can pinpoint it. But it's cool that we saw more of CX404. And it seems like we're getting some nice, distinct character arcs of 3 different characters. It isn't all just about Lucy. So of course, Lucy, Ella Purnell as Lucy, is going to be the main character. That's obvious. And if you recall a lot of the character bios that they've given us, for the TV show, Lucy is an optimistic vault dweller with an all-American can-do spirit. Her peaceful and idealistic nature is tested when people harmed her loved ones. And if you go to the end of the trailer, it really does set the scene that she's going to have to adapt to the harshness of the wasteland. She's referred to as a killer, and there's blood all over her. So she's not just going to stay this, can do all lucky whatever vault dweller. No, she's going to become pretty, weathered to the wasteland and a bit of a harsh character. And that's what we should see. That's what we saw in Fallout 3 and other Fallout games when you're a vault dweller, but also as well, Aaron Moten as Maximus, the Brotherhood of Steel guy. We're going to see more of a character arc about him as well. So again, Amazon Prime has described his character as such. A young soldier who hides his tragic past as he serves in a militaristic faction called the Brotherhood of Steel. He believes in the nobility of the Brotherhood's mission to bring law and order to the wasteland and will do anything to further their goals. So we're going to get a character arc for him, and of course, one for the ghoul, Walton Goggins as well. Those 3 seem to be the main characters in the Fallout TV show. So for the ghoul, he survives the wasteland as a bounty hunter, so that's pretty cool. He's pragmatic, ruthless, and hides a mysterious past. And we've seen a little bit about that in the pre-war segments. I'll talk about that in a second. But when it comes to the ghoul and Walton Goggins, there is violence, man. The gun isn't exactly in the games, but look at the amount of damage that it did. When he shot the guy and he flew 20 meters and there was a huge hole in his chest, that was freaking awesome. And again, the set pieces are pretty jaw-dropping. I think in some regards, this could be a nice cinematic feast for the eyes. Some people did say that they're a little bit upset that this, Fallout TV show seems to be lacking a lot of the retro futurism of the Fallout franchise. And you know what I'm talking about, whether it's the futuristic cars or whatever it might be. Some people are saying this just looks like a barren wasteland. Guys, this is based in the West Coast. It's based in Los Angeles. Have you played Fallout New Vegas? It's mostly a desert. This is what the TV show would look like if it's going to be set on the West Coast. So I'm fine with that. And then we got more scenes about Vault 33. You can see a bunch of the inhabitants just on the floor. Either they're dead or unconscious. We're clearly getting a crazy vault experiment in this TV show, and we should. If we're seeing a vault, we need to see some crazy experiment. So I'm glad that we're seeing it. We even saw that in the previous trailer where one of the vault dwellers lost his mind and was screaming like the Hulk. So I can't wait to see that. But now let's talk about the NCR. There were a group of people in the trailer that looked similar to the NCR. It wasn't quite, so overtly NCR. It didn't look straight out of, New Vegas. But I feel like this group probably is the NCR. One of them was also carrying a New California Republic flag as well. And they were battling the Brotherhood guy. That's why I mentioned before, I do believe this could be a big plot point of the actual TV show. The Brotherhood of Steel, at least the remnants of the Brotherhood of Steel who are in the West Coast in LA, could be versing the NCR. There could be some sort of battle. You know what? We might actually be getting something very similar to the Helios 1 solar power plant that we saw in Fallout New Vegas. If you remember that questline, that would be perfect for the TV show, especially if the NCR and the Brotherhood of Steel are actually fighting each other as part of the plot. Let me know what you think in the comments below. That might actually be what they're doing in this TV show. And then again, we got some more pre-war scenes. I love that we're able to see some of the Great War, the bombs dropping, people being very scared at that moment. Walton Goggins' character is featuring very prominently in those pre-war scenes, so I like that. It aligns very nicely with what I said before about him having a mysterious past, so we're probably going to learn more about him in flashbacks. And I love that we're seeing a human transform into this ghoul and being a main character. If you remember, we saw something similar in Fallout 4 with the Vault-Tec guy. We saw him as a regular human at the beginning of the game, and then later on as a ghoul. We're getting that exact same thing in this Fallout TV show, and he's turning into a cool bounty hunter. What's not to love about that? We again saw the Yao Guai. It didn't look quite the same as the previous trailer. It kind of looked like someone in a bear suit, but I did like how the power armor dude punched the Yao Guai right in the face. It's something that we've probably all tried when playing the Fallout games, so that was pretty sick. Again, we're getting some new creatures in the Fallout TV show. We saw that mutated axolotl, which we haven't seen in the games to date. I do like how there are new creatures being introduced in this TV show because it is going to help add to the lore of the franchise. As we know, this TV show is going to form as part of the official canon of Fallout. Todd Howard actually confirmed that. And that mutated creature looks pretty cool, so I'm happy with that. Again, we're getting the Super Duper Mart. We saw some of that in the set photos of the TV show. And I want to emphasize, they're continuing to not stray away from the hardcore themes of the game, right? Fallout has blood. It has violence, and you know what it also has? It has chems, it has drugs, and at multiple occasions in that trailer, they refer to chems. It's not big and scary. They're actually sticking true to the actual themes of the Fallout franchise, especially when Lucy shot him with the tranq and he made that joke about the drugs. And then I think later on in the trailer, we actually saw the ghoul character take some drugs. I think he was taking chems at that moment. So that's very, very fitting to Fallout as a franchise. I freaking love that, right? And then we saw the character squish a rad roach. The automated turrets look sick. And then as I mentioned, there is a hint at the end that the Vault Dweller Lucy is turning into this more hardcore character. She's becoming very weathered in the wasteland, is probably going to kill a character or two towards the end. But that was the Fallout TV show trailer, at least the latest one. Wastelanders, let me know what you think in the comments below. I cannot wait for this thing. April 11, it comes out. I'm going to try and review every episode. Let me know, would you like me to review all the episodes in one go? Or maybe, episode by episode. I'm happy to do either. But let me know, and until next time, this has been the Lone Vault Wanderer. Please take care of yourselves, and would you kindly keep fighting the good fight.